to the Ghana News Agency, over 2,000 people die of breast cancer every year in Ghana. According to the World Health Organization, there are more than 2.3 million cases of breast cancer that occur every single year. Welcome to today's show. We are about to discuss a topic that touches the lives of millions around the world: breast cancer awareness, hope, and healing. The breast cancer survivor's journey. That's what we are talking about today. This is Bond, right here on AGTV, the Assemblies of God Ghana television. Now, whether you've been directly impacted by this disease, or you know someone who has, or simply want to learn more, this conversation is for you. We'll dive into how early detection saves lives, explore the latest treatments, breakthroughs, and share ways families can support loved ones through their cancer journey. My name is Mauto Sade. You are welcome once again. Before we go for our first break, let's take our scripture for today. And our scripture for today comes from Isaiah 41 verse 10. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
Hey there! You're watching Bond's Family Life Show. Woo! A family that sticks together will always be stronger through the stormy weather. I have you and you have me, and that's what makes us family. It's the Family Life Show. 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 You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
Welcome back from that break. Now, if you've just joined us, you're watching Bonds here on AGTV, the Family Life Show that talks about everything and anything that concerns you and your family. Once again, my name is Mauto Sade, your host for the day. And I have here with me three very important people who would help us to have the conversation. Before we went on the break, I mentioned that today we'll be talking about breast cancer. We are creating awareness. We are hoping that information, which is knowledge, will be the saving grace that we all need to be able to either avoid it or help us manage and live a life that is fruitful even with it in our midst. So you're welcome. Get other people to join in the conversation. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, share the link and invite other people to be part of the conversation. You can leave your comments, your questions, and share your personal experiences if you have any. You can also follow us on MyAGTV if you're on Facebook or on YouTube or on Instagram. Once again, you are welcome. Now, I have with me three people. Like I mentioned, I have two familiar faces. Reverend Reginald Akwamwa. Reverend, once again, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
As we all know already, Reverend is a minister, a teacher, and a relationship counselor. He doubles as the president of the Reginald Ministries, aka RAM Global, the Marriage Factory International, and the Kingsmen International. It's always a pleasure to have you, Reverend. And to help the two of them have the conversation, I have with me Pastor Mrs. Sarah Akuyo Brown. You are welcome. Very pretty, always with a beautiful smile. It's great to have you also. Thank you. Now, Pastor Sarah is from Favor Assemblies of God, Cape Coast. She is the principal midwifery educator, adjunct lecturer, Assemblies of God Theological Seminary, founder of Exceptional Women Foundation, which is a Christian faith organization to support couples seeking the fruit of the womb medically and spiritually. I remember the first time we met, you mentioned that you're trying very hard, passionate about closing the gap between medicine and religion. It's great to have you once again.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we mentioned earlier that today we'll be talking about breast cancer. We are creating awareness, hoping that information and knowledge will help everybody who is watching us today. And we have with us Madam Abna, who is a breast cancer survivor, and she'll be sharing her story with us. So, Auntie Abna, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit more about you.
The patrol 2015.
ena mia ya me self breast examination nti me hu say lamp bida me nufu mu.
Okay.
Nti me ka kire me ku ena woso ene obehwe kolebu ne wa hwe baby a ye hwe enufu mu. Nti me wadwuma mu anofre me say wako book me ama me time a almost memra nti date ni dru ya na me call ye.
Okay.
Nti me call ye no ana me kire doctor no but na onye sure because na bibia nchire say me breast cancer.
Na wunyare,
you
were absolutely fine.
I was very, very fine. Se me ti hokra who say who difference between the two breasts.
Okay.
Nti doctor no say o si den na ye o madam o si den na me so me who say lamp bi wo me breast no nti me pese me de bana mo hwe ma me. But before then no na minim breast cancer hu nsam kakra nti na prompted me ntem e ma me de call hospital. Nti ma me ko ye mammogram and a scan. Me de buy and a confirm say cancer wo lamp no.
Nti mpacho first time na wo call hospital na no mama wo ye scan and mammogram no.
Nti later no mama ko ye another test be biopsy. And I also confirm we.
So tell us a little about when you received the news the first time. Say ampa we have breast cancer. How did you take it?
I didn't panic.
Okay.
I did not panic because I have read a lot about breast cancer.
Even before you felt the lump yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I didn't panic. So I was there. They would tell you, go and do this and bring it. So as time went on, they told me that they will have to do a surgery for me.
So per what the doctors told you, was it already on a scale where chemotherapy will not be able to treat it?
No. Well, I can't say for them.
Okay.
But to me, they told me that they have to take the breast out before the cancer starts spreading.
Right.
So I was told that surgery, chemo, and then radiotherapy. It depends on the stage in which you go to the hospital or in which you are detected.
Okay.
So they can do radiotherapy first, or chemo first, or surgeries. But in my case, the surgery was
recommended.
Yeah.
How did your family receive the diagnosis? When you went, was it difficult to share it with them?
No, it wasn't. When I got to, I just told my husband that it has been confirmed that I have breast cancer. Actually, mine wasn't it was in the lump.
Okay.
It was in the lump. So I told my husband, he said, oh, there's no problem. They will have to do whatever they can do.
So apart from your immediate family, was there any other support from outside that knew that this was going on with you and they were able to be there for you?
In fact, I did not tell anybody.
Right.
Nobody knew it.
Okay.
Not even my sister. My sister had then lost her first son. So she was with us.
Okay. But you were still able to keep it from her?
Yes, because I didn't want any discouragement. I didn't want anybody to tell me that, hey, do this, or go here, do this. I focused on the treatment at the hospital. So it was only my husband and my son who knew about it.
How long did the journey take from the beginning when you were, medically diagnosed to when you were fully declared cancer-free? How long did it take?
I can say in about within 6 months.
Okay.
Within 6 months.
So what happened after the surgery?
After the surgery, I went through chemo.
Okay.
Chemotherapy.
Right.
And then after chemotherapy, I went through radiotherapy.
We thank God that eventually you were declared cancer-free. For how long have you been cancer-free?
Well, I'm told it's after 10 years. That
before you would be declared cancer-free.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
Okay.
But now I'm almost 9 years.
Oh, congratulations. We are almost there. Wow, we thank God so much. Would you say that the experience with breast cancer has impacted your life in any way at all?
Positively or negatively?
Either way. Either way.
Positively, I would say it has given me the opportunity to be talking to people.
Okay.
That breast cancer is not a killer disease. Like the saying goes, early detection saves lives.
Okay.
If you see anything, don't panic. Just go to the hospital. And if you are diagnosed that this is what is happening to you, just allow the doctors
to do
their job whilst you also pray. Whilst you also pray to God that, God, you are the healer of healers. So heal me through the doctors. And I believe it will be done for you.
Yeah. And we are, witnesses of this great testimony that you're right here with us. And if by God's grace, within 6 months, you've gone through the treatments and 9 years on, you're still here with us testifying to his glory. We give God all the glory. I mean, let me come to you, Pastor Sarah. Out of the four of us, you are the most, let me call you the expert on this particular issue. What is breast cancer to start with?
Cancer is basically abnormal division of the cells.
Okay.
So the cells that we have in our tissues in our body, when they are abnormally growing or dividing in excess as they are supposed to, that is basically cancer. So cancer is not anything different. It's the cells that are abnormally misbehaving. Then it will spread, those excesses spread to other organs. And then, so cancer can affect any part of our body.
Okay.
Any parts, cancer of the skin, cancer of the throat, cancer of everywhere. And then our emphasis this month is cancer of the breast. Yes, so it's just the breast tissues or the cells found in there that are abnormally misbehaving. And then it becomes a little worry when they overgrow and they find itself affecting other structures on the body. That's where the threat comes in. Yes.
Auntie Abna mentioned that she detected a lump in her breast. And so I'm going to focus on that. Is it to say that every cancer, especially if it's of the breast, will begin with a lump?
No. No. Sometimes you might not feel the lump, but there are other symptoms.
Okay.
So you have sometimes tingling sensations in your breast. The nipple will get indented, or sometimes you get some discharges from the nipple. There will be some sore. You'll find some dimpling. Sometimes there will be some depressed part. When you observe the two breasts, anatomically, one is bigger than the other.
Just like our feet, isn't it?
Yes. One is bigger than the other, but it's not so obvious.
Okay.
When it becomes so obvious that then sometimes the skin changes. Your skin color. So you are fair skin, but you observe your breast and realize that this part there's some discoloration. Yeah, so we can't mention all the signs and symptoms, but what we are saying is that as a woman, know yourself.
Okay, so that if anything abnormal is happening, you'll be able to detect
Know
it.
yourself, stand in the mirror, don't be shy of your own body. Stand in the mirror, take off your clothes, raise your hand, go to YouTube and just type self-breast examination. There are videos online. Watch them, stand in the mirror, raise up your hand. Sometimes it might not be on the breast, sometimes your armpit. Because some part of the breast anatomically extends to the armpit. We call it the axillary tail of Spence. Or the tail of the breast. It goes to your armpit. Sometimes when you examine the breast, you will not feel anything, but you go to the armpit, there will be something there.
There will be something there.
Yeah, so raise your hand high and then examine from your armpit, observe the skin. Is there any changes? Is there any retraction of the nipple? Can I see any sore when you squeeze? Is there any discharge? What is the color of the discharge? Is it blood coming out? Do you see any depression inside of the breast? Is one bigger than the other? How is the shape looking like? Is the nipple trying to curve itself to one side? So any slight change you see, go to the, it's better you go, they tell you it's nothing than for you to think, oh, hey, this one is shame. It's the air can say, Bosumi breast cancer, who de runiebo. It's AGTV, Cecilia, Fraunia, a melcuni or baby, so until Cecilia, say breast cancer, yarea, a dorsal. Can I no near who say soon sumu yare, na de have andrew ye. It's a dorsal, intino ye best say who insist kakre bi wo nufumwa. I won't see a say a faconomon she na anamontu bi wo ho a megidi se ebeboa.
Let me come to our chief counselor for a moment.
I'm enjoying them.
Counselor of counselors.
You know, the counselor of counselors. I mean, you can feel in the environment, in the space, that this is a very heavy subject to talk about. And that is precisely because of what Pastor Sarah said a moment ago, the perception of what breast cancer is and probably how dangerous it is and how much of a killer it is what has made it, you know, people shy away from even talking about it. And we will quickly do, God forbid, when it comes. You know, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, but the first thing I want to ask is, what do you suppose spiritually and emotionally our outlook to breast cancer should be as a people?
As Christians, it is important for us to look at it this way. The Bible says this body is the temple of God. Now, we are not only supposed to take care of it spiritually, we're also supposed to take care of it physically. You know, so even as a Christian, when you get to a place that you don't really have an understanding of your body, you need to begin to question it. You know, now you one of the things about me is that I don't hate okra, but anytime I eat okra, I spit a lot. So I don't like eating it. You understand? It is a language of the body, my body, telling me this. You know, so as Christians, just like you said, all this, God forbid, and all those kind of things, we need to be very careful. I am a strong believer in the issue of faith, believe in everything that God has said, you know, but I'm also a strong believer in the place of foolishness in dealing with faith. So it is important for us to know this, that when a challenge comes in your body, there are people who have been schooled to understand what the body languages are. We call them medical persons, you know. So if we have these medical persons in the church, we need to make use of them.
That's it.
They are not just there because they are Christians. God did not just allow them to give their life to Him because maybe they were wasting away in the world. No. Their salvation, as part of their salvation, is their career.
That is their service to the fold.
So we need to utilize them.
Yes.
You know, and then we come to the understanding of, no, it is not everything that the pastor knows. You know, so if you have a pastor who knows everything, even when it is medical thing, and he even grew up as a business person because of his anointing, he has read some small book on medicine and want to talk, be careful. He may lead you to, but I will tell you, okay, I have this little information, but call this person. You know, I think that is the place that we need to get to. Yes, we need to have the solution.
We'll come back to that conversation in a bit. We'll be back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. You're still watching Bonds.
It's the Family Life Show. You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
For every moment you need to be inspired.
You cannot be prayerfully alive, and Satan will get you easy.
Vision without action is an omission.
Raise your head high, for AGTV is here.
It's the Family Life Show. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show.
You're welcome back from that break. If you've just joined us, you're still watching Bonds here on AGTV. This is the Family Life Show. And today we are talking about breast cancer, creating awareness. What role does faith have to play in it? Before we went on that break, Reverend Reginald mentioned that there was a thin line, very thin line, between faith and foolishness. Let's be careful where we draw eyes. Now let's come back to the conversation. I'll come back to you, Auntie Abna. You were sharing your story. You've told us almost everything there was to know about how it began and how it ended. Tell us, was there a moment where you had to go back in your family line to see, was this something I got from somebody else who is in the family, and is this something I may possibly pass on to my children?
Yes, I went back. I casted my mind back to my great-grandmother.
Okay.
From our line to see if any of them had any breast cancer. There was
no BNB.
So I went to my aunties to ask them that, oh, na mama, obinya breast cancer and because by that time my mother was dead. My great-grandmother was dead. My grandmother was also gone. I was left with my grand auntie.
Okay.
So I asked my aunties, that's my mother's cousins. They told me, oh, abna kayo biasa o. Nge mi biasa. Nge umpenimfue inti mwenye bisa. Just to make sure. But they told me there was nobody in the family who got this cancer.
Let me come to you, Pastor Sarah. Are there cases of it being passed on, you know, in a bloodline, say from generation to generation?
So we don't have a cause for cancer. All the cancers, it's idiopathic. We don't know what causes cancer, but we relate them to risk factors.
That certain things may bring them on.
Yes. So the risk factors, we have the unmodified risk factors and the modified one. The unmodified ones are the defaults. Typical example is a family line we are discussing. Yes. So somebody has it in your family, so you have the risk of
getting it too.
But we have a lot of people who have had breast cancer that there's no history in their family. Or maybe there could be a history, but there is no record.
Okay.
Where in the olden days it happened and we go to Mpaibo, Ukuasempai, those things, and nobody knows here. But most people get breast cancer. They try to track or trace it back their family.
And there's nothing
to show. And then one of the unmodified is being a female.
That alone.
That alone is enough risk.
That alone. I think in this one I'm going to say to Reverend Reginald, I think that generally when the punishment for sin came, we got the worst deal. The women, we got the worst deal.
Yes, it's just till the ground, and we are all tilling the ground with
I know.
We are sharing the bills that we are paying. So men also get, let me sound this caution, that men also get breast cancer. So when you visit the breast cancer unit, in the queue, you see some few men in there where they are also having challenges with their breast. They report, they take mammogram, they take scan, and they do surgeries for them.
They also have cancer, breast cancer.
Because the tissue is there, just that it's not so fleshy and fatty as that of the feminine. So we have men who also experience breast cancer. And so we want to talk to our men. Breast cancer, men mansu timinya. And so we have men now te ya obi ana insistent bi wo okoko so a ko na yen hwema. So with the breast cancer, with the unmodified one, I've mentioned you being a female and also the family line. And then early menarche. Early menarche is those who menstruate early. They believe that hormones have worked on your body for a very long time, and so it puts you at risk. Then we have the modified one.
Okay.
The ones that you can, those are the lifestyle. Smoking. Smoking. Taking alcohol. Okay. Eating fatty foods. Not doing enough exercise. Living sedentary lifestyle. Of course, all these are risk factors to a lot of chronic diseases.
It's not peculiar to breast cancer.
Exactly. So breast cancer, we don't have a cause, but we have risk factors. So what we are stressing is that self-breast examination. When you menstruate, few days after your menses, go to the mirror. We are encouraging the men. Stop just sucking it. You be massaging it. Try and look for the lumps for us. I wish all men would learn breast examination.
I think from today we have to teach our men.
AG men and all the men watching, not only AG men. Go to YouTube, type self-breast examination and learn. And every month you do it for your wife. We should be religious about it.
Okay.
Every month, do self-breast examination. When you do it, you get used to how your breast feels in your palm. You get a mental image of how your breast looks like, so that if you touch the left side, you know this time there's nothing. This time I'm feeling something here. And then you observe the color changes I've said and the nipple behavior, everything. And then
let me just pick on what you're saying for a moment there. Does it also presuppose that there should be pain for you to be, worried, or
no.
There may not even be pain?
Some will experience pain, some would not. Most breast cancer cases don't even experience pain. And then let me say this: when you see a lump in your breast, doesn't mean you have cancer.
Yeah. Okay.
When you see a lump in your breast, it doesn't mean. 2008, I had a surgery and I took a lump when I was a student in Confanoche. It was even a cyst. So it's just a 15-minute surgery. I was just at the theater. They took it. I went to the hostel that same day. You take it to the lab. They will test it and you are fine. So we have the benign. Benign means that it's not cancerous. And then we have the malignant, means that
it's
cancerous. So when you see the lump there, it doesn't mean all is cancerous. Just go and then medicine would communicate to you.
What role does the family have to play in what we are talking about, Reverend?
When it comes to the family, especially a family where there's evidence that somebody has this issue, I think the first thing that the family needs to do is to come to the place of acceptance that this is a challenge that we are going to deal with. Number two, especially if there are children in that family, every person must be made to understand what this person is going through, and then the reason why we need to be there for that person. When Auntie Abner was speaking, she said that her husband and the son, it's not about whether the son is grown on. I believe that they needed to bring him in so that when mommy begins to do certain things that she's not used to, you will understand, so that we can move along with the person. And then I think that the other thing too is that the family also needs to come to this understanding that it is going to change a whole lot of things in the home. The way we will be doing things, the way we eat, the kind of food. You may not now. Maybe before you used to have choices, but now because of this person who is having this challenge, it becomes our challenge.
We have to adjust.
We have to, all of us need to adjust.
Challenge.
It's not the person's challenge. So if because of this person, now in the morning, maybe we need to take, let's say, cocoa that we are not used to because of this person. When we come to that understanding, it is our challenge, we are helping this person run through, you'll be surprised that even the pressure on the person who is going through that even diminishes, because even the person knows that I am not in this thing alone. As a family too, we also need to be careful how we talk around this person.
Okay.
By the time we begin to say things that will bring this person into depression, we are not helping that person. So that love bond must be stronger when it comes to the family of an individual dealing with a challenge like this.
I remember Auntie Abner mentioning that she didn't want to include a lot of people in the circle of those who knew, precisely because she didn't want negative energy, that you would die, this will happen, oh my God, what are you going to do?
Even last minute that I had to tell my sister.
Okay.
Because I was going for the surgery. So it was about 2 weeks. Then I told her that, sister, yes, I breast cancer.
Oh my God.
Let me say then. When you breast cancer. Me call hospital, me call
Isn't that because there is not enough information out there?
I have a very close daughter of mine who were so close that the day I heard about her incident of breast cancer, she has gone to the hospital for about 7 months.
Wow.
Gone through, they cut everything before she was finally telling me. When she sent me a picture of the scar, That was the day I had a new understanding of how we need to deal with our women. It was so scary. You look at it and you would think the doctors didn't know what they were doing. But I believe that by reason of how the nature of the thing, there was definitely a way to cut it. You know,
to remove every bit of it. Yeah.
And I'm saying that as close as I was with this lady, only 3 people knew. Her best friend who took her to the hospital, and then she herself and her husband. Finish.
Very easy.
No, I think it is very important. No, because like the way Auntie Brian is saying, somebody's talk
may actually put you down.
May put you down. You may even not want to go into it. They now going to tell you other people who went and what happened to them and what didn't happen to them and all manner and use this one and don't use that one. And before you realize, you are so confused. You don't even know what to do.
That brings me to my next question, Pastor Sarah. How important is it when it comes to early detection in the cases of breast cancer?
When you observe your breast and you see any slight change, report early. When you report early, they are able to trap it. So when Aunt Abner was narrating her story, they said that the cancer cells were just in the lump.
Yeah.
Yes, the doctor would have just decided, so then let me just take the lump and leave your breast. But the doctor was trying to play safe. Possibly, it could have maybe affected some tissues that he might. Our system here, we don't have enough gadgets or most of the technology that we have. Other countries where there's this thing they call PET scan. PET scan, I don't know if Dr. Kolebu is having it. It's able to detect the cancer cells even at a minute level. But here they don't. The doctor would know. Okay, let me just take the lump, tramdopam. Let's take the breast, so that
so that we are safe.
You live for those who depend on you. So the earlier you go, the lesser the emotional torture, the lesser the exposure to treatment. You know, so depends on how you present and how they manage you. Some of them you even present, they tell you they don't want to even touch it at all. For the attempts of it has
too far.
It has spread. It has affected the lungs. It has affected the kidneys. It has affected your liver. So it will just do what we call palliative care. Palliative care, and I say, yeah, there, ukakra them pie boy, and go and see your family. Go and write your will.
Yeah.
And when you are in pain, they give you symptomatic treatment, painkillers. They'll tell you if you want to be at peace with somebody you think you are loggerheads with, go and make peace and they leave you to your fate. That's palliative care. So sometimes they don't want to even touch it at all. They just do some management just to hold you for a while. And that is when they will tell you have this number of months to live. So early detection is the best. You go and then they look at the stage you find yourself. They know how, like she was saying, they can decide to do the chemo first. The chemo is where they give you the cancer drugs. They will give you the injection so that when it goes into, and it comes with side effects. Maybe you allow Auntie Abner to share some of the side effects.
With us,
the
how the experience was.
Yeah, the radiotherapy is a gadget. You go to a radiology unit, they put you into the machine and they allow radiation rays to the site where the cancer is to burn the cells, and your skin will change. Even if you go for treatment, the psychological torture is reduced, the cost involved is reduced, the damage is reduced, and the survival rate is increased. Yeah.
I love the fact about the damage base because Reverend mentioned a moment ago when he saw the scar, which is to say probably it had gotten to the stage where they had to take even more than they took. I mean, we are talking about breast cancer. We are creating awareness. If you're a lady and you're watching us, this is a good time to start checking yourself. I mean, if you're alone especially, I think it's a great time to go check before we come back from the break. We'll be back shortly.
It's the Family Life Show. You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
For every moment you need to be inspired.
You cannot be prayerfully alive, and Satan will get you busy.
Vision without action is an omission.
Raise your head high, for Reggie TV is here.
It's the Family Life Show. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show.
You're welcome back from that break. If you're a lady and you heard me earlier, I hope you did the check. If you didn't, wait till the end of the show, but be sure to do it. Early detection is key. We are talking about breast cancer. We are creating awareness. Faith and responsibility must go hand in hand. I still have in the studio with me Pastor Sarah Brown. I have with me Reverend Reginald Akwamwa, and I have Auntie Abna, who is a cancer survivor, right here with me. We are having a good conversation, and I hope that almost all of us are learning and picking something out of it. Even if you're a man, remember, Pastor Brown mentioned that men do get breast cancer. So let's all be on the lookout. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about, people's perceptions on what to do. And I just want us to go back to the idea of stigma and the fact that people don't want to tell anybody around them precisely because they think that people are going to look at them in a certain kind of way. Rev, let's talk a little about that.
Thank you very much. Because of the lack of knowledge, especially heavily in the church, when people go through these things, it becomes another thing altogether. People think that there's the place of you understand?
It's a curse.
It's a curse. And all those kind of things. Now we remember Pastor Brown said something that it's a disorder. You understand?
An abnormality.
It's an abnormality. Once every month, let's take maybe a particular part of the body, sensitive part of the body, and let's infuse it in the message. We bring an expert to come and talk about it. At the end of the day, you realize that now people have a lot of information. One typical issue in the church that needs addressing seriously is the issue of genotype.
Okay.
So you realize that most times the people get to the counseling in their last stage. That is when they realize that they are not compatible. He's AS, me too, I'm AS, and we can't marry.
But we have faith.
You see, yes, we have faith.
Foolishness.
We have faith. But you see, the time that they came to know of it was the wrong time.
It's too late.
Yeah. You should have done the labs even before starting the counseling.
Even before you even know yourself that this is the person I want to date and this is the person I want to know. You should know for yourself. So by the time the person comes in and then propose, you begin to ask, so what is your genotype? Do you know? So I like you as a friend, but please let's go ahead and look at this one. Sometimes let the pastor sit aside.
And let the experts do their job.
Especially Christian experts,
okay,
let them do the job. Because they are going to be talking as Christians and also talk as experts at the same time, so that everybody can now understand. So that when they're even talking about stigma, he's coming from a place where he knows that, we are talking about people who are like me. We are talking about people who are believers. We are talking about people who will need them in their tomorrow. You'll be surprised at some of these people that we think that they have stigma and all this kind. God is going to bring them into a level that tomorrow when you see them,
you won't even be able to approach them.
You won't be able to approach them.
Right.
Now, when we look at Auntie Abna right now, she does not look like it in any way.
At all. Actually, she says even on the first day, she didn't look like it.
Yes, she does not look like somebody who has gone through this unless maybe she decides to tell you that this is what when Pastor Brown is speaking, every terminology she mentions it.
I mean, now she's become an expert in
So like we say, practice makes somebody perfect.
This is a lived experience.
Yes, it's a lived experience.
We want to plead with our pastors. Yes, Remo. If God gives you any word of knowledge about somebody's disease condition, the person's privacy. During prophetic meetings, during revival meetings, we should stop embarrassing people in the church.
The way we say it.
Mame, bra, we were soon say cancer or wrong. When this off work, baby, we your license. Is it when we are doing things at certain at the periphery and we think we can go scot-free with it? There are certain areas you can't go and do that.
I love the way you said it.
We were soon Papa, when say on kwambo anya adwuma. Then when monyam fa so dem obi enim so low sperm count. Abegu na warrior for bag gaje honorarium ko. Pastor, please.
Unacceptable.
Please, we shouldn't abuse people behind the pulpit. Pastor, when a church member walks to your office and tells, my hospital na me lab omo ye no say menya kokram. Me nufu mo. Se nipa ni ma ho kwan a emfa nkodi nkomo nkyere wo yere e wo fie You are doing the ministry with your wife. I've been telling the students at the Bible school that you are doing the ministry with your wife, but it's not everything that your wife should know. Because somebody comes to tell you, I'm HIV positive, my husband is not aware. You go and discuss with your wife. Your wife will I mean,
before
yes,
you know it, everybody knows.
So confidentiality is the key when it comes to until the person comes out willingly to say that now God has given me that grace to now talk about it publicly. Say I dance here, I can tell Abner is sharing right now. From the beginning, please, let's know. Sometimes this emotional thing kills them, even the disease kills them. Yes. So.
Let's go back to Auntie Abner for a moment. We say you are a lived experience. You've been there and back. Let's talk a little about the chemo and the radiation. You know, the radiotherapy that you experienced. Pastor Sarah mentioned that there are some side effects to the chemo. Share with us, how was it like for you?
With the chemo, all your hair will go. Will go off.
Completely?
Completely.
Yes, you hold your hair, it will just plug into your hands like that.
I was told all these things. But when I started experiencing it, I didn't know it was
going to be that bad.
Yeah. So I think the second week after taking the first chemo, I was having a very severe headache. So I couldn't even sit. So I was just lying down and I started crying. Then I saw my husband coming and I turned my face to the wall.
So he won't see.
He said, Mini Fiob. I couldn't look at his face. I said, no kwefe. Ofo. That was what he said. Gamfo, gaofo. Many fear we are for. And I said, my head is aching. So he just went to the kitchen and brought me water. I took the water. But before then, I've taken my medications in the morning. I was left with the afternoon and in the evening. So he just brought me water, that I should take the water. I took it. And I was a bit okay. Then later on, I couldn't stand. I couldn't do anything. I was restless. So I came out of the room, sat in front of the door. And I told my son to bring me a mat. So I laid the mat there and I slept on the mat. Then something prompted me. I just hold my hair like this. And then there was the hair in my hand.
Wow.
And I did like this. Hey.
More.
And my son said, Mama, then see me three minutes in any tutu. Na say we see doctor ne kind. Na say me nimu say esisi ya. Na mama miti ya meja.
Yeah.
No say fa we draw no en me see there be time ni nro ye. Ma fa no pa di enti akawia. So he also went in and brought me water. Jinsu nume. And I drank the water.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
water is life.
He went to his father and told the father that Mama ni 3 minutes to 2. So my husband came out and he saw it. So the third day he said, then let me do you sakura.
So you don't have to go through that.
So he shaved me and all the hair went on. So as for the chemo, you will become black. Your skin, like you are fair, like you will become black. Every part of your body, even my tongue became black. My nails. So when my former boss visited me in the house, he said he thought I have put on black cuties.
Wow. Wow.
And I told him it's not cuties. It is. And he said, hey, what one be am?
So it basically
it deforms you.
So we have a lot of the women that they get divorced at that time.
If the men are not,
so the marriage the man will run away and leave you.
Let's talk a little bit more about the other forms of treatment that exist when it comes to cancer, Pastor Sarah.
Unfortunately, in the sub-Saharan Africa or low middle-income countries here, we don't have much of the gadgets. But outside, they take their time to really look at how far the thing has spread, they will even check your bone, your bones on your chest, if it has gotten into your bone. And then I'm sure maybe now Ghana has advanced in that. I'm not so much into oncology. I'm into obstetric gynecology, but I'm sure now they have spread. They will scan to check MRI, CT scan, to check if your liver has been affected. So they have to do all those investigations, the biopsy. So these are some investigations before they arrive at the treatment. Like I said earlier, the treatment, there's no protocol about it. How you present is how they treat you.
Right. So everybody's case is unique.
Yes, exactly. How you present is how they look at your age. They look at other related factors. Some are young, they are now treating infertility. They are young that they have to make babies. Some, you can even get a pregnant woman with cancer, breast cancer. How do we treat her? So they are peculiar further subspecialties that comes with it. A pregnant woman who is having breast cancer, can she take the chemo? Is it teratogenic, or will it have effect on the fetus? How are we handling a whole lot. So it depends on how you, so either they will do the surgery first before you start the chemo, or you do the chemo for a while, they do the surgery, you continue, or you do radiotherapy. So that's what they do.
There are varied ways in which they tackle it, but the three major ways is the chemo, the radiotherapy, and the surgery.
And even that you are discharged, you have to be coming for reviews, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You have to be coming, they have to be checking you. And sometimes it happens to one breast, they take it off, the person will come later and the other breast is also. So we've had people where 2 breast is off. Some too, they don't take the whole breast, they take a section of the breast, and then you have something to, because of the feminine features and the cosmetic aspects attached to it. So,
Reverend, I mean, Auntie Abner mentioned at the beginning that this is not a killer disease. As much as possible, women need to be encouraged that, I mean, if you find something, don't be too scared and panic and not look for remedy at all. I'm going to come back to the church again, because as a people, we put God first. And sometimes in doing that, we neglect what is most important, which is our health. How does the church, apart from making use of the experts around and putting messages in our preaching about some of these things, tackle people, especially those who have already been diagnosed with breast cancer?
I know somebody who went through the mystery of feet washing. The person was, in fact, it was a full-blown cancer. In the hospital, while his bishop was preaching, he said, bring me a bowl of water. And all that he could do was put his leg inside and then slept off on the hospital bed. By the time he woke up, the water had turned to like palm wine. And then he just knew that, some new energy. There was no trace of cancer in the body.
Amen.
All that person needed was a foundation.
A message.
A foundation to build his faith on. And that was it. It is not all of us that can build on that foundation, because our faith levels differ. No, if you have taken steps 1, 2, 3, prayed, and then you realize that no, this thing is not working, please go to the expert, go to the medical people. And
all my doctor friends, my nurse friends, please, I'll be calling you after this show. Pick when I call. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the short break.
It's the Family Life Show. You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
For every moment you need to be inspired.
You cannot be prayerfully alive, and Satan will get you busy.
Vision without action is an omission.
Raise your head high, for Reggie TV is here.
It's the Family Life Show. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show.
You're welcome back from that break. We are still talking about breast cancer here on AGTV. And if you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Instagram, remember to like and share the links and the videos. You can also leave your comments, your questions, and share your experiences as well. It may be a very solemn day, and we're talking about a topic that is very critical to our health, but there is always room for laughter, even in the midst of it all, especially if you have faith and you are being responsible. Before we went on the break, we were still having a conversation about stigma, causes, and remedies, and all of that. But let's talk about something that I think is on the minds of a lot of people. What are some of the myths that we hear around concerning breast cancer that we need to debunk today? Mami, I'll start with you first, Auntie Abner. in case there is anything you heard that you, upon having been diagnosed and going through the treatments, now you know is not true, please share with us.
Before then, they said if you get breast cancer, it's a contagious disease.
Okay.
It will affect everybody within your family or in your home. Those that are with you in your home. Because maybe you will drink from the same cup, you do the same things. It is never true. It is not. Because my sister was with me, my elder sister's daughter was with me. As at now, none of them.
So, Pastor Sarah, just to confirm, you are the medical person. Is breast cancer contagious? Not contagious. Great. Reverend Reginald, anything?
I think some of the things that maybe we can call as myth, especially when it comes to the church, is when we have challenges like this and then we demonize it.
Immediately.
Say that no me, why you BBB, and all those kind of things. It is not always like that. We are not saying that it is not possible.
Okay.
It is very possible. You understand? No. So we need to look at it that way, that even if it is like that, before, normally I tell people, even before you step out that you are going for prayer, you would have gone through the medical person.
Okay.
Know exactly where, so that even when you are praying,
you pray with information.
You pray with information.
Right.
When you are healed, they will confirm your healing.
They will confirm your healing. You know, that is the truth. You know, you pray with information.
It has to be objective.
Because you realize that there are certain, you see, every medical issue is traced to something.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes when you need even deliverance, maybe you need deliverance, let's say for a headache, but there's what we can find from the medical person to know that this headache is caused by
something else.
So instead of praying about that headache, why don't you pray about the root cause? So that is why it is important that even in the Christian circles to go to the hospital, let them diagnose it, so that when you are praying, you pray specifically
and target what needs to be dealt with. Thank you so much, Pastor Sarah.
Yeah, concerning the men's, believe that when the men suck breast, you don't get breast cancer.
So the sucking doesn't cure breast cancer?
No. It's also believed that breast cancer is kafoyare. It's for the rich people.
I have heard about two other ones that if you don't breastfeed your child for at least 2 years, you will end up getting breast cancer because the breast milk will coagulate and become a tumor in your breast.
The advantage is that women who breastfeed have less risks. I will not say they don't have risks at all, but they have less risks. So women who delay fertility 30 years and above before they are having children to breast, because the breast has been there without being utilized, the risks of you getting it is a lot. But people have also breastfed early and they still had it. So it's neither, that's why we don't have exact causes. They are just risk factor that research has shown that you know, but we don't have exact cause to say that this is what causes breast cancer. But we attribute to some of this, so it's not true. But when you breastfeed, okay, it's that risk, it reduces your risk for that, sure. And then those who are on hormonal therapy,
okay,
women who get their menopause early, maybe at the age of 40 years when you're menopause, and then they have to, because when you get menopause, you start aging. They give you hormonal therapy to still give you your feminine features. It's believed that when you use the hormonal therapy for a very long time,
you are exposed to that risk as well.
Yes, and the myth about, one myth I want to talk about, mammogram. There's a myth that when you do mammogram, it gives you breast cancer. It's not true, because it goes with the radiation thing, so it puts radiation in your breast. It's not true. Mammogram is best done when you are 40 years and above, because at that time, the density of your breast is low. The breast feels soft and laxed. And so the machine, the radiation, whatever, is able to get into your body
and see properly.
And see properly. So I tell that the cancer can be there, but when you are young and your tissue, the breast tissue is tough, okay, or is heavy, when they do it, they don't really detect it. But sometimes they still do it because you are complaining, and so these are some of the few main things.
Does breast cancer affect children, young girls, or there is some age to it?
Yes, it's also another myth that they believe breast cancer is for the aged. Those days, hypertension, they thought it was for the aged. Diabetes.
Now we know better.
Now go to the facility, we have children who are diabetics, children. So we have young girls coming with lumps in their breast and they do the surgery for them. If they don't do it and they delay, cancer can get in. So cancer,
it's no respect of people.
It's very high among
the
elderly, but the little ones can also get. So our young girls who have started menstruating, who are in their teen age, those are the primary, upper primary and GH. Let's teach them self-breast examination. Our missionette reps and our wise sponsors, our young single sponsors, those who are in the UCA, how do you call them? Christ Ambassador, the youth ministry. Let's add up some of these things into our youth. And then the women ministry, regional directors and the district reps. During your rallies and your meetings, the health experts in your church, use them. They are assets to the church. Daddy have said that you can get one office in the wherever you are doing your meeting. We don't need anything to do breast examination.
Just the hands.
Just cotton in a small bowl so that you can squeeze if there will be some discharge. You only need bed sheets to cover the couch or the table or whatever, and they cover the person for privacy. And there's a good light source so that you can look at the skin. And it's a place to just wash your hand. That's all.
That's it.
You don't need anything. And then which the district rep or whoever is organized, or the local churches can do, to just give the person privacy. As early as possible, you see it, you refer them. And maybe it is giving the pastor stress, waking up midnight and
to pray.
The medical experts have been trained. They are taking salary. They are waiting for those things to be solved.
To deal with them.
Yes, so that, yes.
Second question, I think it's quite important for all of us. How often should one do a mammogram? Do you do it only when you detect a lump, or can I just go to the hospital and say, I want to do a mammogram just to be sure I'm okay?
If you want to do it, you should be 40 and above.
Okay.
But when you do it, I think you do it every three years. Or, Mama, what is it?
For that age group.
That age group, every 3 years, because you don't have to be doing it.
Yes.
Because
You don't need to be exposed to the radiation too often.
So you do it when it is indicative.
Okay.
Yeah, but from 40 and above.
All right.
But
Thank you
less
so
than
much.
40.
55, it should be every year.
Every year.
Less than 55 and above, every year.
Less than 40, you can do ultrasound scan. Like you can do scan.
Okay.
The scan can detect, and then biopsy can be done.
Okay. Thank you so very much. You have all been very helpful in today's discussion, but let me come to you, Auntie Abna, then Reverend Reginald, and finally to you, Pastor Sarah. Your final words to those who are out there, especially you who have survived. What do you have to share with the public?
Early detection saves life. And breast cancer is not something that you have to hide behind it. You don't want anybody to know, especially the medical doctors. When you do your self-examination and you notice any changes in your breast, I will advise that you quickly take it to the hospital. It might not be even a breast cancer. It might even be a lump or a tumor, which can be removed from the breast for you to be fine. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Auntie Abna. Reverend Reginald.
I think that what I would say is that there is so much resource in the church. Let's harness it for the good of the church.
Right.
The careers in the church, they are not just there to come and hear the word of God. They must be allowed to serve
in the house.
Their flourishing in the house.
Right. Right. Thank you so very much. Pastor Sarah.
Okay, so finally, the year can say breast cancer was 7 year can. Bosumi apomdia so ye hwe wiase nyina apomden say obabia nkohwehwe nufu. Uko hospital na ukasa ukohwehwe nufu ma ye free obi anje uska. Nti ko ma ye hwehwe mwanyini wanya 40, 45, 50. Na obetimi etua na ya mammogram ye. Ubu nse wie a gina hwehwem hwenufu no sensesa bia abamu a memfa wadwimbu tumrika ne ko na monhwe ma menye bibia sunsum asem obo mpaye no na wosan eti ye ma treatment say ya ti na ye Afen so yesra ye mema no ne abusua ne se bemu se abusua mu obi nya breast cancer na ojiwudi na okache wa keep it private. Let's respect people's information that they entrust into our hands. Yes, I okay come obi ate a ebebu na bam ebeku ni sunsum enukura beku na nsa na yare ne ku no. Yesra kunu no mo nso mo support mo nkranhye munum no fori nyina mu mi ahwe so yare uma piao.
I want to say a very special thank you to all three of you. First, most importantly, to Auntie Abna. Thank you so much for opening up and sharing your story with us. We are very, very much grateful. And we thank God for you. 9 years of His glory. We pray that He will continue to keep you strong.
Amen.
Reverend Reginald, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, especially on faith issues and on counseling issues. Your pieces of advice are invaluable. May God richly bless you. Pastor Sarah Brown, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have a wealth of knowledge, and we are very grateful that you are always available when we call to share them with us. And to you, those who are watching, before I even come to you today, especially, I want to say a special thank you to my producer, to my director, to the cameraman. Thank you guys so much for holding me down and always making sure the show comes on and it comes on perfectly. And thank you especially for staying behind the screens and for watching us and for joining us in this very important discussion on breast cancer awareness. We've learned that early detection can make all the difference. And we do hope that today's show has inspired you